You bought land from a certain family, but now it has been sold to another person. That is the nightmare of buying land from families in Nigeria. In this video, I'll be showing you 4 critical differences between buying land from families and buying land from real estate companies so that you don't lose your life saving again. Without wasting your time, let's dive into the video. The first difference is that buying land from families may be more expensive on the long run than buying land from real estate companies. Some people are already disagreeing with me. Let me explain. Family property may look attractive initially because the price may look cheaper, but if you compare it with companies, it is more expensive on the long run, because if you want to buy land from families correctly, you will need to involve a property lawyer to help you verify the true owner of that particular property. And involving a lawyer will attract professional fees, so you have to pay the lawyer, and by the time you add the amount you are going to pay your lawyer to the price the land was tagged, you will know that the money is accumulating. And that is not the end yet. We are still explaining some of the costs that it will attract. Buying land from families will attract. But on the other hand, buying land from a real estate company, most of the real estate companies have their own lawyer that help them to verify the true owner of that particular property, to verify the authenticity of the documents for that particular property. So if you are buying land from a real estate company, you don't need to worry about hiring a lawyer. You don't need to involve, you may not need, but if you want to, that is fine, but you may not need, because most of the real estate company have their own lawyer that help them to verify the authenticity of that particular property. The second difference is that the cost of securing and monitoring the property you bought from a family may be more expensive than the property you bought from a real estate company. Let me explain. If you buy a property, especially from a family in Nigeria, you need to fence it immediately. And after fencing it, you need to put gates. And you also need to, if you are not there, you need to allow somebody to be watching over the land so that there won't be encroachment. You need to, either you pay somebody, or somebody should be watching over the land almost weekly, or if daily, if possible daily. So all these things, you consider the cost of fencing the land. How much is cement sold now? A bag of cement, how much is it sold? What of blocks, how much is it sold? What of the cost for labor? So if you compare the price of fencing your property, especially immediately after you have paid a lot of money for your land, you still need to pay for your fencing again. The money you use to pay for the fencing, if care is not taken, it will be more than the money you use to buy the land. Can you see that? But let's compare it with a real estate company land. If you buy a plot of land from a real estate company, normally that real estate company will have a perimeter fence for the estate, not your own plot alone. The whole estate is secured by a perimeter fence, and that means there is not going to be encroachment into your own land. Those of you that subscribe to that particular real estate company land cannot encroach, because the company is usually organized. They demarcate each person's property securely with beacons, so there is nothing like encroachment. Even though you are going to have your own perimeter fence for your own plots of land, it is something that you are not in a hurry to do. You can do it at your own leisure time. So it is after you have maybe you have recovered from the expenditure of the land before you can settle down and go about your perimeter fence. Sometimes it can take up to a year, can take up to 2 years. You are relaxed, you are not in a hurry to do that. But if you buy land from a family, you have to do the perimeter fence immediately, otherwise there might be encroachment. Then what about paying somebody to watch over your land? If it is from a company, the company normally have security that is overseeing the land, so you don't have issue with that. Okay, so if you look at it carefully, you see that the cost of securing and monitoring your land from a real estate company is far cheaper. The third difference is that if you buy landed property from families, there could be an encroachment if you do not do anything on that particular land for some years. We have had cases of people buying land from families, and after some years they did not build on it, no development on it. That family can sell that same plot of land to another set of people that are ready to develop it immediately. One day you just see some people working on your land, and by the time you complain to them, they'll say, no worry, we will give you another plot of land that is even better than this. And that plot of land that they are going to give you will not be at a prime location compared to this one that has been sold to another person. And if you complain, you say, okay, let's refund your money. And of course, the money are not the same again, because that particular property has appreciated. But if they are going to refund to you, they will refund the exact amount of money you bought the land. That is if they even agree to refund. And if you don't want a refund, they'll say, okay, let's go to court. You know how much it will cost you on court cases. Apart from the money it will cost you to go to court, it will also waste your time. They will waste your money, waste your time. And during that time that you guys are dragging yourself in court, there won't be any development on that particular property. You don't even know how many years the court case will last. So during that time, you are losing a lot of money. Now you can see that buying land from families can be very, very troublesome if you don't involve a property lawyer. But if you buy from a real estate company, you don't need to be in a hurry. You just work at your own pace. At any time you are ready to develop your property will be waiting for you. The fourth difference is that buying land from families requires huge capital, because you need a lot of money to pay so many things almost at the same time. You need the money to pay for the landed property, to pay for the lawyer, to pay for documentation, to pay for fencing, pay for securing and monitoring of the land. By the time you put all this money together, it is going to be huge. But if you buy from a real estate company, all these things are not necessary. You don't need to pay for lawyer. You don't need to pay for fencing immediately. You may not need to pay for documentation almost immediately. Sometimes it can be up to 3 months. And you don't need perimeter fence immediately, though you can do it later. Okay, and to even make it easier for you, you can buy a property from a company at 1 million naira. They can even spread that 1 million naira over 12 months. And if you decide to pay like 100,000 naira every month, you see that in 10 months you have completed your payment and you become a landowner. You can see how easy it is to buy from real estate companies in Nigeria, and it is more secured. If you are looking for top opportunities that are currently available at Epe, Lagos State, Nigeria, I discuss them in this video. So ensure you watch this video so that you know the properties that are currently available, and it's a huge opportunity for those that can discover it. So ensure you watch that video. I will also leave the link to that video in the description of this video. Simply comment in the comment section real estate opportunities and I will send them to you. See you in the next video. Bye.